Right now at 10, police surround a Santa Barbara home tonight after alarming calls of a fatal shooting that turned out to be fake. A live report coming up. A Nipomo woman killed and her boyfriend is the prime suspect. Tonight we learn that man is in the country illegally. Plus, a gay pride flag burned.
This is really unacceptable. This is definitely concerning.
The victim, San Luis Obispo's mayor, what she said to Fox 11 News about what now is a hate crime investigation. 20 minutes of nonstop news and weather starts right now.
Live breaking news from Fox 11.
We begin with this breaking news from Santa Barbara. An emergency call brings armed police officers to a home on the Mesa, but it turns out the call was fake. It is our top story tonight. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Scott Hennessy. Melissa Mahan is off tonight. Alarms began going off just before 8 p.m. tonight. Police responding to what they were told was a fatal shooting. Officers arrived to a Santa Barbara neighborhood west of Ledbetter Beach and a home on Barranca Avenue. Fox 11's Elise Martinez has been on the scene for us tonight. She joins us now live with the latest. Elise?
Scott, we are on Barranca and Del Sol on the corner, and you can see right behind us the Bearcat is just leaving the scene. And as you said, this was a false report. Here's what we know. Around 8 o'clock, police got a report of a homicide with a rifle. A man called and said he had killed his father and he was going to kill his mother and was holding her hostage. This happened on the 200 block of Barranca Avenue on the Mesa. And as police were responding, he was saying he was going to kill officers, and that's what prompted the full-scale response. Police started to contact neighbors and started to piece together that this was a false alarm because no one had heard gunfire or arguing. They searched the primary apartment in the apartment building on the 200 block of Barranca where the caller said he was. No one was inside. There was no homicide and no suspect. They searched 6 apartments in the building and all were clear. And now they're searching for the suspect who made the false report. And this alleged crime, which turned out to be a false report, had all neighbors and a full-scale police response out here. It was a very scary time for neighbors, but as we were reporting, it's a false alarm, and now police are looking for that suspect. Live in Santa Barbara, Elise Martinez, Fox 11 News.
Yeah, an entire neighborhood on edge there, Elise. Police certainly trying to track down this person who was on a cell phone. What type of charges do they face if and when they catch this person, Elise?
Scott, I talked to an officer and he said they take this crime very serious, and he said this type of false report is a felony. So it's a very serious charge. Back to you.
All right, Elise Martinez in Santa Barbara tonight. A fake call, and they're trying to track down that suspect right now. Thank you very much. Amid the ongoing national debate about federal immigration policy comes another case here on the Central Coast involving a deported felon and illegal immigrant who has been accused of killing his girlfriend in Nipomo. Keith Carls is live for us with the latest on that story. Keith?
Well, Scott, this homicide has left family and friends of the victim in shock and stunned and grieving over her violent death as new details emerge about the suspect charged with her murder. Paulina Ramirez Diaz was found with a fatal stab wound in the neck early Wednesday morning inside a home she shared with relatives and friends along the 600 block of Pomeroy Road in Nipomo. Her reported boyfriend, 24-year-old Julio Cesar Alonso, has been charged with murder in the homicide case. Federal immigration officials confirm Alonso was deported to Mexico last year while serving a prison sentence for his conviction in an unrelated crime. An ICE spokesperson tells Central Coast News Alonso was detained for federal immigration proceedings in August of last year and then deported to Mexico. How and when Alonso returned to the United States and the Central Coast is unknown at this time. The murder of Paulina Ramirez Diaz has caused a stir in the affluent Nipomo neighborhood where the crime took place. Most neighbors we spoke with declined to talk about it on camera. The ongoing national and local debate about immigration reform and increased border protection was not lost on everyone in the neighborhood we talked to with regard to this violent crime.
Again, the border is so huge. It's really hard to keep people or weapons out. I don't know of a solution. I'm thinking that there's an electronic solution where you could put towers up, half a mile apart that would detect movement, and then we can deploy border patrol. I think that's a much better solution than spending billions of dollars on a wall. I think a high-tech solution is much better.
And tonight, Julio Cesar Alonso is being held in San Luis Obispo County Jail with no bail allowed. Live in Santa Maria tonight, Keith Carls, Fox 11 News.
Thank you very much. Now, gruesome photos presented in court today of the victims in a triple homicide in Santa Barbara County. Pierre Haupsch is accused of killing his business partner, Dr. Henry Hahn, along with his wife, Jenny, and daughter, Emily, in March of last year. A forensic pathologist for the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Coroner's Office went into great detail about how the family died. 5-year-old Emily was shot 8 times. One was in the middle of her forehead, execution style. Emily's mom, Jennifer Yu, was shot 3 times to her head. Dr. Henry Hahn was also shot 3 times. Now to a crime alert stemming from UCSB campus police. They are investigating a possible hate crime. UCSB police say 3 men yelled derogatory names at a woman, inferring that she was from Pakistan. Then they mentioned getting a gun, although no gun was seen. We spoke to UC police. They say under the definition of California law, this is not referred to as a hate crime, but they are taking it very seriously. The 3 suspects are described as 2 white, 1 possibly Hispanic man. No other description is available. The mayor of San Luis Obispo is outraged after her gay pride flag was burned. And as Fox 11's Amanda Valdez tells us, police are investigating how she became the victim of an apparent hate crime.
There's not much left of this pride flag.
The flag had been burned and left there purposefully.
The flag belonged to San Luis Obispo Mayor Heidi Harmon. For years, it flew outside of her home. She says she found it like this Thursday morning.
This is really unacceptable. This is definitely concerning.
Police are investigating this as a hate crime, even though Harmon is a straight woman.
Those of us that are either directly in marginalized communities or in allyship with folks in marginalized communities seem to be equally at risk in terms of the blowback.
The crime took place during Pride Month, something that hits close to home for many.
We need to stick together. We need to make sure that our voices are heard and that, people realize that acts like this are not tolerated, and we're not going to tolerate it, and, we're going to stand up for our rights.
Mayor Harmon says an act like this goes against everything this city and community is about.
People should know that acts like this will not work in terms of keeping allies or people in the LGBT community from standing up for themselves.
Someone also cut up these signs promoting unity and inclusion. These were also on display in front of the mayor's home. Police say there is no tolerance for crimes like this.
I think I would ask that the community increase their communication with us as a police department. That they reach out to us.
While their investigation continues for any leads, the mayor is sending this strong message.
Love is greater than hate, and love is greater than fear.
Amanda Valdez, Fox 11 News.
Developments to breaking news we brought to you last night. 2 families are now homeless after their Lompoc apartment building caught fire just before 9 last night. Authorities are still investigating the cause of the blaze, but they tell us the smoke alarms in the upstairs apartment were not working, and that is where the fire started. Without the alarm to warn them if they were sleeping, they may have not made it out alive. Neighbors said they were touched when they saw one tenant whose apartment was on fire help out another.
Downstairs, they were pounding, beating on the door, yelling at them, and made sure that the downstairs tenants got out and got out safely. Could see the flames in the apartment in the window, and it was blazing already. It was going really, really good.
There were no injuries. The Red Cross and the property owner have stepped up to provide temporary housing. There was about $70,000 in damages. The world's safest beach, as it is called, is now the cleanest in Carpinteria, thanks to some local workers. About 40 employees of Procore used a community service outreach day to put on gloves, grab bags, and pick up whatever trash they could find on the beach. They said for the most part that Carpinteria City and state beaches were very clean already.
We did find some trash, some cigarette butts, plastic, a couple cigars, I think a couple beer cans.
We did find
one lone shoe. So some kid out there is missing a shoe. If you're missing your shoe, let Procore know and we'll come and send you some new shoes.
Besides beach cleanup projects, the employees also help to build houses for those in need through Habitat for Humanity. Maybe it was a beach day in the afternoon after the fog and the clouds cleared out. Let's go to the First Alert Weather Center and check things out with our chief meteorologist, Alan Rose.
Hi, Scott. Yeah, for some beach areas, took a little bit later than others. It just depended upon where you lived, what you saw today. What we did see inland was a lot of sunshine, a lot of warmth, and that's why the valleys up in Paso are very warm, low 70s at this 10 o'clock hour, 67 in Atascadero. But you head down the grade, and we're already down to 59 in Slow, 54 Santa Maria, Santa Ynez, and 61 right now in the Santa Barbara area. Not much wind out there tonight versus last night. You can see the only spot reporting a double-digit wind speed is Paso Robles. Most everyone else is just seeing some light west or northwest winds. And what's different tonight as well is the lack of marine layer. No fog to report. Not seeing any issues with visibility from Santa Maria through Santa Ynez and up the coast towards Paso Robles and San Luis Obispo. Now, the Futurecast really has backed off quite a bit on the extent of that marine layer. I think it's a little bit underdone. We have high pressure that's built in aloft, and it's north of us. What that does is it shrinks the marine layer, so the cloud base is not as deep. And sometimes this model, even though it's very high resolution in its capabilities, doesn't really detect the full picture. So I'm still calling for areas of clouds and fog by the coast, and then lots of sunshine on Saturday. And I think if you like today's weather, Scott, you'll be pleased with the start of my weekend forecast. But how's the rest of that forecast shaping up this weekend? And what about the next 7 days? I'll have all those details coming up in just about 5 minutes. For now, back to you.
All right, Alan, thank you. Our heavy winter rains did quite a bit of damage to the area heading into Big Sur, and the bridge, the Pfeiffer Canyon Bridge there, is out of service, but work is being done to fix it on State Route 1.
The original bridge failed because it was being supported by the soil. It was a 3-span concrete bridge. One of the columns actually failed due to poor soil.
Right now, crews are working to make large steel plate girders in Vallejo. Once those parts are complete, they'll be trucked to Stockton, where they'll be painted and then transported to Pfeiffer Canyon to be assembled. Public access for this new single-span steel girder bridge is scheduled for late September of this year. Blasting has begun. The effort to build a new spillway at the Oroville Dam has started with explosion after explosion. Crews are removing 2,000 feet of concrete from the damaged spillway east of Sacramento. Construction of the new spillway is set to begin in the next 10 days. The goal is to finish an entirely new spillway by November. Desalinated water is flowing out of Santa Barbara's new desal plant. It is years in the making, and Fox 11's John Paul Materi tells us some businesses are getting the water. They are double checking the quality of it.
When it comes to making alcohol in Santa Barbara's Funk Zone,
the water chemistry has a big impact on how the alcohol actually ends up tasting as well.
That's why Ian Cutler of Cutler's Artisan Spirits, like others, is concerned about the water coming from the newly opened desalination plant nearby.
But anything with the wine production, with beer production, with spirits, a vast majority of all of our product is water.
One way to make sure everything is consistent, even with new water coming in, can be taste and smell. But
we can also send out for water quality analysis. So we'll send it out to laboratories, have the water analyzed there so I know exactly what the mineral content is and compare that to what we've been doing before.
He's even saved some water before the plant was turned on.
I want to know what the chemistry was before all of this takes place so that we can begin to compare. If we do need to make any adjustments, that we have that information from beforehand. It's just chemistry. It can be fixed. So it's just a matter of staying on top of it.
This process is going to be closely monitored and tested by everyone using water as a key ingredient in this area. The desal map with the darkest areas, such as the Funk Zone, will have the highest concentration of desal water compared to other areas with the blend, or none at all. The $70 million plant is just down the street. It's producing 3 million gallons of water for Santa Barbara daily. Cutler has a growing business featuring vodka, gin, and whiskey. On our visit, cases were heading out for distribution to fill orders at stores, bars, and restaurants locally. He is a chemist, which helps when it comes to any adjustment to the recipe he uses to craft his spirits.
For me, it's always about balance, making sure that the flavors that are in the spirit all balance, but one of those flavors actually comes from water. So water needs to be there, and if we need to make any adjustments either to the spirit or to the minerality of the water to get that water chemistry just right, so really get a nice, clean and smooth product.
John Palmentary, Fox 11 News.
More local news now. A family frantically searching for a Lompoc man who has been missing for 9 days now. Zachary Wilkes was on his way to Las Vegas when he dropped out of communication with his family. We spoke to Zachary's mother tonight, who fears the worst. Here's what we know. When Wilkes last used his phone, it went through a Cuyama cell phone tower, which is where the family is heading tonight. There has been no activity on his credit cards since he went missing. The family has also hired drone pilots to canvass the area around Highway 166 near Cuyama and Maricopa. If anyone has any information, you are asked to contact the Lompoc Police Department. Lompoc police have arrested 3 men for what they're calling a gang-related shooting. The victim was treated for a gunshot wound to the back. Police say Isaiah Adams, Miguel Gonzalez, and Alfonso Roa have ties to a local street gang. During their investigation, police found 2 guns and ammunition in the men's homes. All were booked into the Lompoc City Jail. President Trump signing into law 2 bills that would provide help to members of law enforcement and veterans. The American Law Enforcement Heroes Act gives priority for federal grants to those federal and state law enforcement agencies that hire and train vets. And the Public Safety Officers Benefits Improvement Act takes steps to reduce the backlog of families awaiting approval of survivor benefits of public safety officers killed in the line of duty. Fox 11 has learned the identity of the pilot who died in a plane crash in Ventura County. 52-year-old Michael Brannigan of Lake Sherwood died of blunt force injuries. NTSB investigators are still looking into yesterday's crash. Aircraft debris scattered on the hillside and along Solomar Beach. It's still unclear if the plane hit another object in the air or broke into pieces before it slammed into the hillside. 5 young ladies spend months raising money for local organizations and charities in the Santa Maria Valley, and it is all capped off when one of them is crowned queen of the Santa Maria Elks Rodeo, and that moment happened just hours ago. Madison Hall wears the crown this year. She raised nearly $200,000. She was sponsored by VTC Enterprises. That stands for Vocational Training Center. There you see the big moment when she found out. Look at that reaction. She is stunned. VTC helps people with disabilities to get work and helps them with their daily lives. They've now sponsored 3 winning queen candidates in a row.
There's no words to say how I am right now. It's an amazing feeling. We all worked so hard, and I'm just proud of all of us that we all got through it and got to this point.
Way to go, Madison. You earned it. The Queen Contest has raised a total of $11 million for the community's youth for the past 73 years. This year, the 5 contestants raised a total of $573,000. So congratulations to all 5 candidates. Well, the rodeo parade steps off tomorrow at 9 down Broadway in Santa Maria. There'll be thousands of people out there, including Melissa Mahan and myself. We'll be broadcasting on our sister station, KCOY 12. Always a bit chilly in the morning, so looking forward to seeing what the weather's going to be like tomorrow.
Yeah, you'll have to bundle up a little bit. And I won't be there with you guys, but I'll be watching from home. How's that?
That's all good. Yeah, it's a good show.
I promise to tune in. It is a good show every year, and so far it looks like it's gotten off to a great start. And today, just a beautiful end to the week, the warmest and sunniest day of the past 5. And as expected, hottest in the valleys. Look at Paso Robles, 96 degrees today. Compare and contrast that with Lompoc, which was just under 70 this afternoon. Big difference. You can really see those microclimates, and that's pretty much what we do this time of the year, this microclimate forecasting, and temperature spreads between coastal and valley areas always can range by big differences. Santa Maria tonight, quite different than last night. No marine layer out there, clear skies, temperature at 54 degrees. It's about 7.